Everybody that played a role in me doing what I needed to do in the company
Vsi, ki so prej opravljali svojo vlogo, da sem jaz lahko delala v firmi to, kar sem počela,
really started to care very little about my success.
so jim je čedalje v bistvu manj bilo mar za moj uspeh.
But I was flying.
Ampak jaz sem bila na vrhuncu svojega letenja.
I was on top of the world.
Jaz sem bila na vrhu sveta.
I was better than them.
Jaz sem bila tako boljša od vseh skupaj.
So I shouted louder.
Zato sem malce bila bolj glasna.
And I demanded more.
In sem zahtevala vse več od njih.
And I became more impatient.
In sem postala zelo nepotrpežljiva. I
had lost my humility.
In izgubila sem svojo ponižnost.
I loved the praise of others.
In všeč mi so mi bile vse te pohvale, povzdigovanje drugih ljudi.
I loved the money.
Všeč mi je bil denar.
I was not living and reflecting what I knew was right.
Živela in odsevala tega, kar sem vedela, da je prav.
Every morning we used to have a sales meeting.
In vsako jutro smo imeli sestanek.
And one morning I arrived to work.
In neko jutro, ko sem šla v službo,
on top of the world,
ko sem bila na vrhu sveta,
walked into the sales meeting,
sem šla na ta sestanek našega odbora.
And there was my manager waiting for me.
In tam me je čakal manager
with the whole company.
Z celotno firmo.
And she said, "Sit down."
In je rekla, sedi, prosim.
She was about to do me the biggest and most uncomfortable favor I experienced in my life.
In je bila tik pred tem, da mi naredi največjo uslugo in najbolj bolečo uslugo v mojem življenju.
She sat me down and said to the whole room, "All of you."
Posedela me je dol in rekla celotni sobi ljudi.
"Tell her what you think of her."
No, vi vsi, povejte ji, kaj si mislite o njej.
"Tell her what you're complaining about."
Povejte ji, o čemer se pritožujete.
"Tell her what she's busy doing."
Povejte ji, s čim vse je prezaposlena.
I sat there for 45 minutes.
In 45 minut sem tam sedela.
As they all told me all these horrible characteristics that I was displaying.
Ko so mi vsi en po en razlagali vse te grozne karakteristike, ki sem jih sama izkazovala njim.
They left the meeting.
Potem so odšli srečanja.
And I remained with my manager.
In jaz sem sama ostala z mojo menedžerko.
That manager was my mentor.
In ta menedžerka je bila tudi moja mentorica.
And almost 20 years later, she's still one of my best friends.
In skoraj 20 let kasneje je ona še vedno moja najboljša prijateljica.
I sat there shocked and ashamed.
Tam sem sedela šokirana in povsem sram me je bilo.
Hurt, confused and embarrassed.
Bolelo me je, zmedena sem bila in sram me je bilo.
She said to me, "Reza."
In je rekla, Reza,
"I had to do this to you.
To sem ti morala storiti.
Your pride and your success
tvoj ponos nad tvojim uspehom
was making you crash before you could fly the heights that you're supposed to fly."
bi te kmalu lahko totalno zrušilo, preden bi zares lahko poletela.
She gave me a book by Dale Carnegie.
In dala mi je knjigo Dale Carnegie.
How to win friends and influence people.
Kako pridobiti prijatelje in vplivati na ljudi.
This was a career wake-up call, a pivotal moment in my life.
In to je bil tak alarm za moje življenje, ključna točka v njem.
I really thank God that it happened so early in my life and not later on.
In res sem hvaležna, da se to zgodilo tako zgodaj v mojem življenju, ne kasneje.
I went home that day feeling very down and like the worst human on God's green planet.
Tisti dan sem povsem zlomljena šla domov in sem se počutila kot najhujši človek na celem planetu.
I did the only thing I knew to do in that moment.
In takrat sem storila tisto, kar sem edino znala v tistem trenutku.
I went before Father God.
Šla sem pred Boga Očeta.
And I asked him to help me.
In sem ga prosila, da mi pomaga.
I asked him for forgiveness for not reflecting him in all aspects of my life.
In prosila sem ga za odpuščanje na vseh področjih mojega življenja.
And I asked the Spirit to help me and equip me to make the changes I needed to make.
In prosila sem Svetega Duha, da mi pomaga storiti nujno potrebne spremembe.
See, the problem was that people knew I was a Christian.
In težava je bila v tem, da so ljudje vedeli, da sem kristjanka.
They used to sometimes come and speak to me about God,
Včasih so prišli in mi nekaj govorili o Bogu,
sometimes come and ask me for advice in certain situations.
včasih so me prosili za nasvet v določenih situacijah.
So I'm a Christian,
Torej, jaz sem kristjan
and I treat people like that.
in ravnam z ljudmi na tak način.
And I walk around with pride like that.
In hodila sem s takim ponosom naokrog.
I lost credibility,
Zgubila sem kredibilnost,
I lost trust,
zgubila sem zaupanje.
and in some cases probably caused people to lose belief in this thing called Christianity.
In v nekaterih primerih tudi povzročila, da so ljudje zgubili vero v to, kar so oni imenovali krščanstvo.
Please,
Prosim,
if you work in a company,
če delate v firmi
or if you run your own business,
ali če vodite svoje podjetje
and you say you're a believer,
in če rečete, da ste verni,
let your lifestyle reflect that,
naj vaš življenjski stil to tudi odseva.
especially in business.
Še posebej, kar se tiče podjetništva.
If credibility is lost in the display of one's character,
Če je kredibilnost izgubljena zaradi značaja nekega posameznika,
it spreads like wildfire,
se potem to hitro razširi kakor ogenj
and it's hard to repair.
in težko je popraviti.
The book that she gave me was good.
Ta knjiga, katero mi je dala, je bila dobra.
It had great points and practical tips,
Imela je krasne točke, praktične nasvete.
helped me to understand people,
Pomagalo mi je razumeti ljudi,
but
ampak
the older Reza,
ta stara Reza,
17 years later,
17 let kasneje,
standing here in front of you today,
danes stoji tukaj pred vami,
hopefully a little wiser,
upam, da je zdaj malce modrejša,
would tell you to just read your Bible.
bi vam rada povedala, da enostavno berite svoje sveto
It is
pismo.
the oldest,
To je najstarejša
most successful,
in najuspešnejša
most tested book
in najbolj preizkušena knjiga,
you can refer to for life.
na katero se lahko zanesete z vsem svojim življenjem.
The Gospels in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John,
Evangeliji v svetem pismu Marko, Janez, Luka
are where some of his closest people
to so bili ljudje, ki so mu bili zelo blizu
recorded his life.
in so zapisali Jezusovo življenje.
It's the very blueprint that God gave us. It's the very blueprint that God gave us to navigate life, family and
To
business.
je dober načrt, ki nam ga je Bog dal, kako ravnati z podjetjem, družino, zakonom.
His life and all the stories in it
In noter so razne življenjske zgodbe,
really shows us what to do in any situation.
ki nam kaže, kaj lahko storimo v določenih situacijah.
It truly gives a practical, real-life example of challenges and how to best overcome them.
In nam daje praktične napotke, kako ravnati v določenih življenjskih izzivih.
Back to me and my journey.
In da se vrnem nazaj na moje popotovanje.
I changed.
Spremenila sem se.
I changed how I engaged life and how I engaged people.
Spremenila sem se, kako ravnam s svojim življenjem in kako ravnam z ljudmi.
I was looking for opportunities to bless.
In iskala sem take priložnosti.
So I had teams, people, as I mentioned, who invoiced my sales.
In imela sem ljudi, ki so mi pomagali izdajati račune. Ja.
And then I had teams that took the physical car,
In potem time, ki so ta konkretni avto odpeljali,
serviced it,
ki so ga servisirali,
washed it,
pripravili, uprali,
put carpets in,
dali tepihe
number
noter,
plates,
te registracijske tablice,
so I could go deliver it to the client.
zato da sem jaz potem lahko, oni so pripravili avto, da sem ga jaz lahko odpeljala k stranki.
Little things, like telling these people how crucial they are in my success.
Majhne stvari, povedati tem ljudem, kako pomembni so za moj uspeh.
Buying them a lunch on a Friday to say thank you for a hard week's work.
Naprimer, da sem jih počastila v petek na kosilo in sem jim zahvalila za njihovo trdo delo.
Sharing in my success.
Ko sem svoj uspeh delila z njimi.
telling them, this month we delivered 50 cars.
In jim povedala, naprimer, ta mesec smo prodali 50 avtomobilov.
I could never have done it without each and every single one of you.
Tega ne bi mogla storiti brez vključenosti vsakogar izmed vas.
Changed their attitude.
In vse to je spremenilo naše drže in atmosfero.
Cultivated team.
Ko sem negovala ta tim.
I also looked for opportunities in this success to give back to the kingdom.
In ravno tako sem v tem uspehu iskala priložnosti, kako investirati v kraljestvo.
I was so grateful to God for highlighting this problem.
Tako hvaležna sem bila Bogu, da mi je osvetlil ta problem.
And for continuing to bless my success through the valley and the up.
In da je še naprej blagoslavljal me v vseh dolinah in vzponih.
I wanted to give back.
In želela sem mu vrniti
10% of 100% that belongs to him.
10% od 100%, ki pripadajo njemu.
Soon things changed.
In kmalu so se stvari spremenile.
My successes were celebrated by the whole company.
Mojega uspeha so se veselili vsi v firmi.
The files made it to the top of the pile.
In vse te moji papirji so prišli iz spodnje gornje vrste.
My stock was found first.
In moje delnice so rasle.
And my sales increased month on month on month.
Se je večala iz meseca v mesec.
Credibility was restored.
Kredibilnost je bila obnovljena.
I had 15 wonderful years in the motor industry.
In
15.
In imela sem 15 čudovitih let v tej firmi.
I enjoyed God's favor and provision in abundance.
In uživala sem v tej Božji naklonjenosti in v njegovi oskrbi v obilju.
I had the privilege of working on massive deals.
In imela sem privilegij, da sem res imela opravka s takimi velikimi stvarmi, velike pogodbe.
I don't know the conversion, 100 to 300 million rand facilities.
100 do 300 milijonov, ko smo v bistvu najemali zgradbe.
It was things that challenged me and grew me.
Bile so določene stvari, ki so me izvali in poskrbele za mojo rast.
I had the privilege of breaking records and winning awards.
In imela sem privilegij, da smo pokosili vse rekorde in da smo pridobili nagrade.
I also had the privilege of studying through my company.
In imela sem v bistvu privilegij, da sem lahko tudi potem študirala v firmi.
And completing my education.
In dovršila moje izobraževanje.
Through all of this,
in preko vsega tega,
I remembered to stay humble.
Sem si zapomnila, da moram ostati ponižna.
And to give glory to God.
In da dam Bogu slavo.
To praise him so much in the good times.
Da ga lahko v dobrih časih močno slavim.
And press into him and lean into him in the lower times.
In se mu podrodim in grem za njim tudi v težkih časih.
In 2014, God started stirring something different in my heart.
In leta 2014 je Bog začel v mojem srcu nekaj novega vzbujati.
We had joined the Crossing Church in 2008.
Leta 2008 smo se pridružili njihovi cerkvi.
We were part of the deacon team since 2012.
Do leta 2012 sva bila del tega diakonskega tima.
And I just started feeling a bit of a change and a bit of a stronger call towards God's kingdom.
In nekako sem začela občutiti spremembo in ta klic bolj v Božje kraljestvo.
My old mind
in moj stari način razmišljanja
was focused on being a career woman.
Je bil tako usmerjen v to, da sem žena, ki gre za kariero.
Building, growing, promotion after promotion.
Da gre naprej in naprej.
To eventually become one of the directors.
Da bi mogoče enkrat postala direktorica.
Because I knew that was possible because I worked hard enough and people recognized it in me.
Ker sem vedela, da je to mogoče in ljudje so prepoznali tudi ta klic v meni.
So if you had to ask me, would I have ever changed that?
Torej, če bi mene kdo vprašal, če bi kdajkoli to zamenjala,
I would have said no ways.
bi rekla, ni govora.
I didn't want to be at home more.
Sorry.
I didn't want to be at home more.
Nisem si želela biti doma
I
več.
didn't want to work for my husband.
In nisem si želela delati za mojega moža.
I was strong and built myself up.
Bila sem zelo močna in samo sebe sem izgradila gor.
And with God, worked hard at getting my career to where it was.
In z Bogom sem vedela, da lahko grem naprej, pač izpolnim to določeno kariero.
But things were changing.
Ampak stvari so se spreminjale.
God changed my work environment
In Bog je spremenil moje delovno okolje
to a place that I loved going to.
Na mesto, kamor sem sicer rada prihajala.
I was honestly one of those people that loved going to work.
Jaz sem bila iskreno ena izmed teh oseb, ki radi hodijo v službo.
I loved my job.
Všeč mi je bilo moje delo.
I loved meeting new people.
Rada sem se srečevala z novimi
Loved building new relationships.
Rada sem gradila nove odnose.
And I loved closing a deal.
In rada sem sklepala pogodbe.
But myself and my boss at the time, a new boss,
Ampak jaz in moj novi šef v tistem času
started not getting along.
nekako se nisva več dobro ujemala.
I'm not afraid of conflict.
Jaz se ne bojim konflikta,
I can handle it.
lahko se soočim z njim.
But when your boss starts having meetings behind your back
Ampak, ko ima tvoj šef sestanke za tvojim hrbtom
and starts strategizing with your staff
in začne delati strategije za tvojim timom,
on how they're going to work you out the company,
kako te bojo nekako izrinili ven iz firme,
you've got to stop and say, Lord, is that you?
potem se moraš zaustaviti in vprašati, Gospod, a si to ti?
It was such a drastic change from the 15 years
To je bila taka drastična sprememba izpred 15 let.
of joy to absolute misery.
Od radosti do absolutnega obupa.
I was pregnant 6 months
In 6 mesecev sem bila noseča.
with our son.
Pričakovala sva sina.
We have 2 children.
Imava 2 otroka.
My boy is 4
Fant ima
and
4
my
leta.
girl is 10.
In deklica 10.
And when all of this was going on,
In ko se je vse to dogajalo,
I was pregnant,
sem bila noseča,
miserable,
obupana,
tired,
utrujena
and not hearing God.
in nisem slišala Boga.
So my husband and I prayed.
Torej z možem sva molila.
It was a difficult time,
To je bil zelo težek čas.
but I made it to 8 months.
Ampak uspelo
Pregnant.
je priti do 8. meseca nosečnosti
And went on maternity leave in the December.
in decembra ne bi šla na porodniško.
My son was born in January 7,
In sin se je rodil 7. januarja
and I heard as clear as daylight,
in tako jasno, kot je beli dan, sem slišala,
resign.
daj odpoved.
You must remember, I was earning almost 3 times what Hilton was earning at the time.
Morate se spomniti, da sem jaz zaslužila 3-krat več kot mož v tistem času.
This was not an easy ask of me.
To ni bila lahka naloga.
It would take huge faith.
To bi zahtevalo kar precej vere.
We had debt,
Imela sva dolgove,
2 children,
2 otroka,
lots of costs to cover,
veliko stroškov
and God's asking me to cut my salary into a fourth.
in Bog me zaprosi, da znižam svojo plačo na četrtino od tega, kar je bilo.
But I heard him
Ampak slišala sem ga
and I was convinced of the call to the kingdom.
in bila sem prepričana, da sem poklicana v Božje kraljestvo.
I wanted kingdom flexibility.
Želela sem si imeti to fleksibilnost v Božjem kraljestvu.
I wanted to be able to serve more.
Želela sem si več služiti.
I wanted to be able to go and pray with people.
Želela sem si moliti z ljudmi več.
I wanted to lead the worship ministry that I lead in our church
Želela sem si voditi to službo slavljenja, katero sem imela v cerkvi.
with excellence and more time.
Z odličnostjo in želela sem imeti več časa za to.
So I resigned.
Zato sem dala odpoved.
I started consulting for my brother-in-law.
In začela sem z svetovalno službo mojemu svaku.
And for our company.
In za našo firmo.
We didn't have the money in our company at that time to pay me a salary.
In takrat v firmi nismo imeli denarja, da bi mi plačali, da bi dobila plačo.
But God made a way.
Ampak Bog je poskrbel.
I took a huge reduction.
Kar v bistvu je prišlo do velikega zmanjšanja.
But when I left my company,
ampak ko sem zapustila firmo,
I got a payout.
So me izplačali.
Enough to pay off all our debt.
In dobila sem dovolj, da so lahko odplačala vse naše dolgove.
So there was less cost to cover every month.
Torej, s tem je bilo manj stroškov, mesečnih stroškov.
3 months after this move,
in 3 mesece po tej spremembi,
our company went through a very difficult time.
Je šla tudi naša firma čez zelo težke čase.
More faith required.
In zahtevano je bilo še več vere.
I decided to join Hilton full time.
In odločila sem se, da se res polnočasno pridružim Hiltonu.
Because my strength was new business development.
Ker močna sem bila v tem, v postavljanju novih stvari in razvijanju novih stvari.
And our business needed to grow and get more clients.
In naše podjetje je moralo rasti in moralo pridobiti nove stranke.
As Hilton mentioned,
in kot je Hilton že prej omenil,
I hardly had to do anything.
Skoraj da mi ni bilo treba veliko delati.
God blessed us with a client every single month for 10 months.
Ker nas je Bog 10 mesecev blagoslavil vsak mesec z novo stranko.
I made one phone call.
Jaz sem samo en telefonski klic naredila.
The rest were all people referring us.
In vse ostalo so nas ljudje priporočali.
God did the work.
Bog je opravljal delo.
We had to have the faith.
In midva so morala imeti le vero.
He has been faithful ever since.
In vse takrat naprej je zvest.
As Hilton mentioned, our company allows us to travel for the kingdom now.
Kot je Hilton omenil, naša firma nam zdaj omogoča, da lahko potujeva in služiva v Božjem kraljestvu.
Our company allows us to take time off during the day.
Naša firma nam omogoča, da si lahko tekom dneva vzameva čas.
To attend meetings or to serve people.
Da gremo na cerkveno srečanje ali pa da služimo ljudem.
Advancing the kingdom.
In da širimo napredek Božjega kraljestva.
He really does cover you when you put his kingdom first.
On te res ščiti in pokriva, kadar daš njegovo kraljestvo na prvo mesto.
We went through seasons of mountaintop glory.
Šla sva skozi obdobja vrhuncev slave na vrhu gora.
And valleys of changes and stretching.
In doline sprememb, ko te Bog razteguje.
I have learned the following things.
In naučila sem se sledeče stvari.
Remain on your knees, both on the mountains and in the valleys.
Vedno stani na kolenih, takrat, ko si na gori ali takrat, ko si v dolini.
Remain humble.
Ostani ponižen.
God blesses humility and humbles the pride and the arrogance.
Bog blagoslavlja ponižne in poniža ponosne.
Trust me, I learned this firsthand.
To sem se naučila iz prve roke.
Follow the blueprint God so kindly gave us in his Son.
In sledite načrtu, ki nam ga je Bog tako dobrohotno dal v svojem sinu.
A Christ-like character is something both clients and colleagues can and will buy into.
Dober značaj je nekaj, na kar lahko stavijo tako prijatelji kot stranke.
It creates trust,
to ustvarja zaupanje,
reliability,
zanesljivost
and safety.
In varnost.
When you live it and not just speak it.
Ko to živiš, ne samo da govoriš o tem.
Thanks for your time.
Hvala za vaš čas.
Good afternoon, Slovenia. Good afternoon, Ljubljana.
Dober dan, Ljubljana in Slovenija.
It's a privilege for my wife and I to be here with you today.
Vesela smo žena, da smo tukaj danes.
And before I start, I just want to say that this guy is not a bad interpreter.
Preden začnemo, hočem povedati, da ta ni slab prevajalec. So it's true.
Yeah. So I'm just going to try and go a bit slow because my English is a different English, so it takes, you need to get traction to understand what I'm saying.
Šel bom malo počasneje, zaradi tega, da ga lahko jaz razumem, da boste lahko vi mene razumeli.
So my wife and I, we were born in Cape Town.
Z ženo smo rojeni v Cape Townu.
And I relocated 10 years ago to Johannesburg.
In pred 10 leti smo se preselili v Johannesburg.
It's a privilege for us to be here amongst our Christian entrepreneurs and business owners.
Počaščeno nam je blagoslov, da smo tukaj med krščanskimi poslovneži in tisti, ki začenjate posel.
And I said, this is my wife, so she can intro us and our family.
Ona bo nas predstavila našo družino.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with us
Torej začnemo z nami.
before we get to the family.
Preden pridemo do
So,
družine.
okay, this picture shows how I feel being married to Nick.
Torej ta slika prikaže, kako se jaz počutim biti poročena z Nikom.
He's always pushing new ideas and new business deals,
Vedno potiska nove posle in nove ideje v biznisu.
and I basically just need to hold it up.
Jaz se pa držim zadnji, podpiram.
Okay, yeah. So we started dating when I was in high school.
Začela sem hoditi na zmenke, ko sem bila v
And we
srednji
lived
šoli.
in Cape Town at that point.
Takrat sem našla v Cape Townu.
I started my first business in college,
Prvi posel, ki sem ga začela, je bila še v času faksa.
and in 2010 when we got married,
In
then
ja,
2010.
leta 2010 sva se poročila.
I basically had to hand that business over in Cape Town to my manager
In potem sem mogla predati moj posel svojemu menedžerju v Cape Townu.
and moved up to Joburg with him.
In sem se pač preselila v Johannesburg z njim.
And our first few months there,
Prvih parih
I
mesecev
helped him out with his business,
sem mu pomagala v njegovem poslu.
and then God gave us the idea that we need to focus on the petroleum industry.
In potem nam je pa Bog dal idejo, da se naj osredotočimo na industrijo z gorivi. Hvala. Ja.
Petrol.
And that's when we came up with Petrobrand.
In tako sta ona dva izumila Petro znamko.
Okay. And then let's move on to our family.
Poglejmo še našo družino.
So these are our kids.
To so naši otroci.
That's Nikita, the little girl, 2 years old.
Nikita je 2 leti star,
Nikki is 12 years old.
Niki je 12 let star,
And Dominique, that's 4 years old.
Dominik pa 4.
Okay, and then I think I'll hand it back over to Nick for now.
Zdaj bom predala za mikrofon Nika.
This is my wife and I, it's our very first time speaking in public together. So this is the
Prvič,
very
da
first
govorimo
time.
ženo skupaj javno. Good job.
Yeah, those are beautiful kids. Like one you mentioned is Nikki, Dominique, and Nikita.
Torej, res so čudoviti otroci, Niki, Dominik pa Nikita.
So we are a mixed race family in South Africa.
In smo mešana družina v Južni Afriki.
So our heritage is that the indigenous people of South Africa.
In torej domorodci v Južni Afriki.
So when the Dutch colonized the Cape,
Ko so Nizozemci prišli in so zasedli oziroma
the
kolonijo
Dutch, yeah,
naredili, kolonizirali.
the Dutch mixed with the local people, and that is why we look the way we look, all different colors and things.
In takrat so se Nizozemci povezali z domorodci in zdaj se gledamo pač tako zgledamo različnih barv.
So the company, our full name of our company is actually DJ Rigging Petrobrand.
Torej, naše podjetje je DJ Ring Petrobrand.
That's it. And we started out in 1997.
In leta 97 smo začeli.
I was straight out of high school.
Jaz sem bil takrat ravno kar iz srednje šole.
So at the time, we didn't have any money for me to go study further, and my dad is also unemployed.
In takrat nismo imeli dovolj denarja, da bi šel jaz naprej študirati in moj oče je bil nezaposlen.
And the only thing we had to we owned was actually I don't know what you call it here in South Africa, we call it the bakkie.
In vse, kar smo imeli, je bil bucky.
A bucky. Do you know what's a bucky? Like
No clue.
a pickup truck?
Torej, pol tovornjak. Ja.
Yeah, so we had a pickup truck,
Torej, imeli smo pol tovornjak
and that's how we got into the signage industry.
in tako smo začeli prodirati v industrijo z gorivi. A stavljami? Oh, signs.
Signs, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Z oglasnimi deskami.
So we started out from our house and we started manufacturing and installing signs, my dad and I.
In začeli smo torej postavljati panoje, pa jih postavljati, pa printati doma.
And we were subcontracted to a big national company.
In smo bili najeti strani večjega podjetja.
And so we basically done all their signage work for them in South Africa.
In smo praktično prevzeli celotno Južno Afriko za njih.
And that was good. You know, our company started growing. We eventually rented ourselves a little workshop where we started working from.
In naše podjetje je začelo rasti, hišo smo preuredili in smo naredili delavnico doma.
But in the space of, I think, 2 years, we came back in January when businesses reopened in South Africa.
Ampak v 2 letih, torej januarja, ko se posel na novo odpre,
And this company had actually closed their doors. They've closed down and they went bankrupt.
in je to večje podjetje šlo tudi v stečaj.
And because of that, because they owed us money and we didn't have any money to pay, we lost everything.
Ker so nam bili dolžni denar, nismo imeli mi potem plačati in tako da smo tudi mi propadli.
We lost our vehicles, we lost our home, we lost everything. The only thing we had left still was that bucky that we started off with.
Torej vse smo izgubili, našo hišo, vse avtomobile, edino kar nam je ostalo ti začetni poltovrnjak.
And I think that experience turned my heart. It made my heart very hard.
In ta izkušnja je utrdila moje srce ali pa ga zakrknala, ne? In a good way or bad way?
Bad way.
Zakrknala njegovo srce.
Yeah. So we have to start from scratch. As you know, as a business owner, once you start something and it just falls apart and you must start from scratch, it's tough.
Ja, torej kot tisti, ki si poslovnež in začneš, ti uspeva in potem vse propade, začeti ponovno je zelo težko.
And we started, going to customers, trying to build the business back and just trying to do anything.
Torej šli smo nazaj do naših strank in poskušali na novo zagnati posel, ampak je bilo izredno težko.
Eventually, we got back onto our feet and we started getting some corporate customers in of our own and we started building the business again.
In torej čez čas smo le dobili nekaj strank, nekaj poslovnih partnerjev in smo začeli graditi posel.
But I think the unfortunate thing of that was that at that time I was in a space where I would do anything to get business.
In nažalost, takrat sem bil v takem obdobju, da bi naredil karkoli, samo da bi dobil posel.
Like my wife said, at the time I was dating my wife.
In v tistem času, kot je omenila žena, sva hodila na zmenke.
And I don't think I really had any time for her.
In res nisem imel dovolj časa za njo.
But somehow it happened that she actually fell pregnant. Pregnant?
In potem je zanosla.
What does that mean?
Ja, pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, she fell pregnant.
Ona je pač zanosla.
And I was so occupied with my business and my personal life and my social life, I actually just forgot about her completely.
In tako sem bil zaposlen s poslom in z mojim življenjem, da sem na njo čisto pozabil.
And in 2008, I actually relocated and I moved on my own. I moved to Johannesburg, out of Cape Town.
Leta 2008 sem se potem preselil in sem šel za sebe živeti v Johannesburg?
Yeah.
V Johannesburg.
Yeah. So she was there on her own. We had that boy, the big one in the middle. At the time, he was about 2 years old when I moved on.
In torej naš največji fant je takrat bil 2 leti star in je ona pač sama za njega skrbela, jaz sem se pa odselil.
So I was living my own life, partying, clubs.
In jaz sem živel pač življenje za sebe, sem hodil v klube in na
Not worried about my family and my responsibilities.
In se nisem obadal z mojimi odgovornostmi in družino.
But while my time in Johannesburg, my wife phoned me.
Ampak moja žena mi je potem sledila v Johannesburg.
To say my son got ill.
Ker je moj sin zbolel. A je poklicala ga je? I phoned you.
She phoned me.
I thought she followed you. Poklicala ga je v Johannesburg, ker je njen sin zbolel. Hvala, Peter.
He's not a bad translator.
You keep saying that, they might believe you.
Yeah, and it's funny how it happened that at that time I did not believe in God.
In v tistem času jaz nisem verjel v Boga.
me, God was something that didn't even phase in my life.
Torej, ni niti mi šlo čez misli.
And my office in Johannesburg was right next to the church.
In moja pisarna v Johannesburgu je bila pa ravno zraven cerkve.
The church that Brad currently leads.
Zraven cerkve, katero Brad trenutno vodi.
And by pure chance, I went into that church because they got a big, massive building, but they had an old, rusty sign on the outside.
In slučajno sem šel v njihovo zgradbo, zaradi tega, ker so imeli veliko čudovito zgradbo, ampak en zarustan znak pred hišo.
So I went in there so I could get some business out of this guy.
In sem šel do njih zaradi tega, da bi dobil biznis od njih.
You know, you're small business, you're always hustling.
Ja, ko si majhen posel, vedno probaš najti način.
And when I walked into the church, I chatted to them, asked them, gave them a quote for the sign and things.
In sem šel v cerkev in sem se pogovoril z njimi, njihovega znaka.
But in this whole process, God had a different plan for me.
Ampak v celotnem procesu je Bog imel en drug načrt za mene.
I returned there the following week back to the church to find out about the quote.
In naslednji teden sem šel nazaj v cerkev, zaradi tega, da mi dajo ceno, torej za koliko jim lahko znak postavim.
But that is when my wife phoned me to tell me that our son is sick and he's been diagnosed with meningitis.
In me je poklicala žena in je rekla, da je sin diagnosticiran z meningitisom.
And as you know, meningitis is something it's children die with in South Africa or they have severe brain damage.
In kot veste, otroci lahko zaradi tega umrejo ali pa imajo poškodbe možganov.
So at the church, the guys serving there, they went over to the prison for prison ministry.
In tisti, ki je služil tam, je bil predsednik enega poslanstva.
Yeah. And there...
prison ministry.
Prisoners, yeah.
Poslanstvo v zaporu.
And at the prison...
In v zaporu.
Yeah. They were praying for each other and I actually asked him to pray for my son.
So molili za drug drugega in so tudi prosili, naj molijo za mojega sina.
And we left there and I flew down the next day to Cape Town to go have a look at my son, to visit him in hospital.
In naslednji dan sem letel v Cape Town in sem šel obiskat mojega sina v bolnico.
And I was shocked to see what he looked like.
In bil sem šokiran, kako je izgledal.
He was like, like all malnutrition. He was like a little raisin. His eyes had gone to his head. He was thin. He looked...
Bil je podhranjen, oči so mu upadle noter v glavo, pač grozno izgledal.
And I was really, really worried about him.
In res me je potem skrbelo za njega.
I then went out, I left the hospital.
In sem šel iz bolnice.
And I went on my knees and said, God, if you really exist, I ask you to heal my boy.
In sem šel ven na kolena in sem rekel, Bog, če res obstajaš, potem te prosim, da vzdraviš mojega sina.
If you heal my boy, I will give my life to you.
Če vzdraviš mojega sina, ti bom predal življenje.
The next morning I went back to the hospital.
In naslednji dan sem šel nazaj v bolnico.
And the doctors were standing around my son.
In okrog sina so stali zdravniki.
And they came to me. The doctors
prišli do mene.
They said to me, Mr. Fredericks.
In so rekli, gospod Fredericks.
I'm sorry, I just want to tell you that we're sorry.
In so rekli, moram vam izraziti naše sožalje.
We as doctors, we're also humans and we make mistakes.
Mi smo tudi zdravniki, smo ljudje in včasih naredimo napako.
Your son does not have meningitis.
So rekli, vaš sin nima meningitisa.
And when I eventually saw my son, I couldn't believe my eyes.
In ko sem zagledal svojega sina, nisem mogel verjeti svojim očem.
He was completely restored.
Bil je popolnoma obnovljen.
In the space of 12 hours, he was from laying in his cot to be malnutrition to the next morning when I got there, he was standing in his cot, walking around and playing like nothing happened.
In torej, od dneva prej, ko sem prišel do njega, je pač ležal tam v posteljici, 12 ur kasneje je se premikal in hodil, kot da se mu nič ni zgodilo.
That day I knew that God exists.
In tisti dan sem vedel, da Bog obstaja.
Immediately I was cut to the heart.
In takoj sem...
And I became a Christian.
In takoj sem scratched off.
To the heart.
Yeah. My heart was torn open.
Dotaknil se je mojega srca in sem postal kristjan.
And then I saw the power of God moving around me.
In takrat sem videl Božjo moč, ki se je premikala pri meni.
And through this whole process, it was like, I started then befriending my wife, because at the time, myself and Monica, we did not even speak.
In potem sem začel postajati prijatelj na novo z mojo ženo, ker pač nisva govorila.
Yeah, she had her own life because she had her own business, her bridal shop, and she had her own life and she was doing her own thing.
Imela je svoje življenje, imela je svoj posel, je prodajala poročne obleke in je delala vse po svoje.
But it's amazing how God works, of what He done, of how He restored our lives.
In je neverjetno, kaj Bog lahko naredi in kako lahko obnovi življenje.
I actually went to a very close friend of mine, a confidant, and I asked his advice on it.
In šel sem do zelo bližnjega prijatelja, do enega zaupnika in sem ga prosil za nasvet.
I explained the situation of Monica and I, have all the problems we've had and how badly I've treated her, how I neglected her, and how I've neglected my son.
In sem ga vprašal za nasvet, torej kaj naj naredim s tem, kako sem slabo ravnal svojo ženo, sem jo pustil samo in kako sem zapustil svojega sina.
And I'll never forget that words that he told me. He said to me,
In ne bom pozabil besed, ki mi jih je povedal, in rekel mi je,
if she marries another person, how would that make you feel?
če bi se ona poročila z drugo osebo, kako bi se ti počutil?
And that hit home for me.
And then what?
It hit home.
Made sense.
It made sense.
In to sem razumel.
And I went to my knees and I prayed, God, you showed me a miracle.
In
Can you turn Monique's heart for me?
In šel sem še enkrat na kolena in sem rekel, Bog, še en čudež rabim, a lahko spremeniš njeno srce do mene.
And then I took her out one night for breakfast.
In eno jutro sem šel na zajtrk
and I proposed to her.
In sem jo zaprosil.
And I was shocked with the response.
In bil sem šokiran na njen odgovor.
Not only did she say yes, she'll marry me, but she also said she'll give up her life in Cape Town and move and live with me in Johannesburg.
Ne samo, da je rekla, da se bo poročila z mano, ampak bo pustila svoje življenje v Cape Townu in se bo preselila v Johannesburg k meni.
So I know that's God, definitely.
in to vem, da je bil Bog.
Yeah, but as God was working in my life, He started pruning me.
In s tem, ko je Bog začel delati v mojem življenju, me je začel obrazovati.
And all the way I was doing business, I used to do a lot of unethical business. Unethical, corruption.
Na zelo neetičen način.
And He started pruning me slowly. I could feel now I needed, because now I'm a Christian, I needed to change all the aspects of my life.
In s tem, ko sem postal kristjan, sem vedel, da moram spremeniti vse aspekte svojega življenja.
I then spoke to the people I was dealing with, the customers, I was handling their jobs.
In sem se začel pogovarjati z mojimi strankami, kako sem ravnal z njimi.
And I said to them, sorry, I cannot give you bribes anymore, I cannot pay you money, I cannot do any of this anymore, it needs to stop.
Ne morem vas več dajati podkupnine, ne morem pač goljufati, to se mora pač prenehati.
And that went bad for me, very bad.
In to je bilo zelo slabo za mene.
They basically told me that we've got a lifestyle to maintain, we depend on that money that you give us.
In so rekli, mi imamo naš življenjski stil, da ga podpiramo z denarjem, ki nam ga ti daješ.
And if you're not willing to do it for us, we'll find somebody else that will give us the money.
In so rekli, če ne boš ti tega naredil za nas, bomo pač našli nekoga drugega, da bo nam plačeval.
They then cut ties with me
and so pač odrezali se proč.
And our business started suffering immediately.
In naš posel je takoj začel trpeti.
And it got so bad that we had no work. All our staff was just standing there. Everybody was idle.
In tako hudo je bilo, da pač preprosto nismo imeli dela. Vsi, ki smo bili zaposleni, smo bili brez dela.
And then in our church had a fishing trip.
In v naši cerkvi smo šli ribariti.
A men's fishing trip.
Moško ribarjenje.
And we were studying the Bible one day in the afternoon on the fishing trip.
In torej na tem ribarjenju smo popoldne preučevali Sveto pismo.
And then Brad started sharing on Psalm 37.
In Brad je začel deliti iz Psalma 37.
And Psalm 37 it reads.
In Psalm 37 pravi.
It says, must I read it or are you going to read it?
Go for it.
I'll give the summarized version. And then you can read the whole thing.
Sure.
It says, do not worry about those who prosper in the evil ways.
Torej pravi, naj se ne obremenjujemo, naj ne skrbimo za tiste, ki jim uspeva na krivične načine.
They will soon be cut down and fade away.
Kmalu bodo porezani in bodo zginili.
They will wither.
Oni bodo strohneli, oveneli.
Trust in the Lord and do good.
Torej zaupaj Gospodu in delaj dobro.
Dwell in His land and have faith.
In prebivaj v njegovi deželi in uživaj v njej.
Delight yourself in the Lord and He will give you the desires of your heart.
Veseli se v Gospodu in dal ti bo želje tvojega srca.
And I knew that was God speaking to me.
In vedel sem, da je to bil Bog, ki je govoril meni.
God speaking to me through His word.
Bog mi je govoril preko njegove besede.
And I held on to that.
In tega sem se uklenil.
Because I know His promise, He showed me twice. He done it with my son.
Ker pokazal mi je dvakrat svojo obljubo.
He done it with my wife.
Z mojim sinom in z mojo ženo.
And I knew the third time I'm going to honor Him and have faith that He's going to come through for me.
In torej tudi spoštoval ga bom pri svojem poslu in sem mu verjel, da bo tudi tam se on pokazal zvestega.
It was not easy though, because remember we are family-owned business and our entire family depended on that business for an income.
To ni bilo lahko, zaradi tega, ker sem imel zdaj družino in cela družina se je zanašala na dobiček tega posla.
So there's a lot of pressure on me from external people telling me now they respect the fact that now I'm a Christian and my faith, but business is business. You know, you can't have business and Christianity together. It's separate.
In drugi so me pritiskali na mene od zunaj in so rekli, ja, sej zdaj te spoštujemo, da si kristjan, ampak posel je pa posel in nekaj druga in ne moreš to dvoje mešati.
So it was a tough season we went through.
In je bila zelo naporno obdobje, skozi katerega smo šli.
Family suffered, business suffered.
Družina je trpela in posel je trpel.
But then there's God.
In potem je Bog.
I was called into a meeting.
Poklican sem bil v en sestanek.
But one of my biggest customers.
Ena mojih največjih strank.
And I wasn't sure what the meeting was about.
Nisem bil točno prepričan, o čem bo sestanek.
But when I got there, I saw the other contractor. Because I knew who all the contractors were. And this contractor was now doing the bribery and the corruption with those people. And he was there as well.
Ampak, ko sem prišel na sestanek, sem videl tega mojega tekmeca in sem vedel, poznal sem druge tekmece, oziroma ko so imeli enak posel kot jaz in sem vedel, da ga je že on podkupoval in probal k sebi pritegnati.
So we're sitting outside the office and that company, they went in first.
In sedimo pred pisarno stranke in moj tekmec gre najprej noter.
And they were in there for a short while and as they came out, I could see this guy was worried. He had tears in his eyes and it felt like he just wanted to break down.
Torej, prišel je ven in sem videl, da je bil cel zaskrbljen, imel je solzne oči.
And that I was worried myself and then I knew it was my turn next and I had to go in.
In sem vedel, da sem pa jaz na vrsti, da jaz moram iti v pisarno.
And I didn't know what to expect.
In sem vedel, kaj pričakovati.
I'm already broke, I already don't have money.
Tak in tak sem brez denarja.
And as I got into the meeting, they said to me, guys, DJ rigging Petrobrand. They said Petrobrand.
Aha,
Our company's name.
Ko sem prišel noter, so rekli, to je iz Petro znamke.
We have a problem in our organization.
V naši organizaciji imamo problem.
There's a lot of unethical things, dealings happening here.
Veliko neetičnih stvari se dogaja znotraj našega podjetja.
And we got zero toleration against that.
Mi imamo pa ničelno toleranco do korupcije.
But the reason why we're calling you in here today,
ampak razlog, zakaj smo tebe poklicali sem,
we want to know about you, what is your capacity?
Zanima nas, kakšna je vaša kapaciteta.
How big is your company?
Kako veliko je vaše podjetje?
And I said to them, right now, our company has gone very small and we have no money.
In sem bil iskren in sem rekel, naše podjetje je trenutno zelo malo in nimamo denarja.
Then they said to me is that these are the contracts we have on the table.
In je rekel, to so pogodbe, ki jih imamo trenutno na mizi.
We're going to give them to you.
Dali jih bomo tebi.
And we're going to pay you advance.
In plačali ti bomo vnaprej.
And I thought, praise God. Thank you, Jesus.
Hvala Jezus.
That's so amazing.
To je neverjetno.
And that's why that Psalm 37 that always resonates with me.
Zato Psalm 37 res se strinja z mojim srcem.
He says, don't worry about those who prosper in their evil ways.
Ker pravi, ne skrbi za tiste, ki uspevajo na krivičen način.
Delight yourself in me.
Ampak veseli se v meni.
And I will give you the desires of your heart.
In jaz ti bom dal hrepenenje tvojega srca.
Thank you, Lord.
Hvala, Gospod.
So you'll see on my shirt, I've got the 37 logo here.
Če vidite, imam na majici naš nov logo, Psalm 37.
So our company has adapted this logo, the PS37.
Zato je to postal naš logo.
And this is our company's logo for values and ethics.
In zato je to logo, ki predstavlja naše vrednote in etiko, s katero delamo.
And a lot of people always ask me, what is that thing on your arm? You know, what's that logo? Because it's on all our vehicles, it's on all our uniforms, it's everywhere.
In dosti ljudi me vpraša, kaj je to tvoj logo, ker ga imamo na majicah, na avtih, posod ga imamo.
And that opens up a door for me to evangelize to somebody.
In to mi daje možnost potem, da prinesem evangelij v pogovor.
And through that I can advance his kingdom.
In na ta način lahko širim njegovo kraljestvo.
It's just amazing how God just joins the dots for you.
Res je neverjetno, kako je Bog
He joins the dots.
kako poveže pike, točke.
I mean, this trip that we currently on was planned last year in December. In November, October, November.
Ja. Ta konferenca je bila splanirana oktobra ali novembra.
2 months ago,
Pred 2 mesecema,
not even 2 weeks ago, sorry,
pred 2 tednoma,
I'm at the business forum.
sem na poslovnem forumu
And I'm chatting to this one guy.
in klepetam z eno osebo
And he tells me,
in mi pove,
I want to meet you. I want to partner with you. Come and visit me in Italy.
pravi, sem v Italiji, a boš prišel obiskati.
And as he tells me that, I say, okay, Italy, that's very far from South Africa, but let's see.
Sem rekel, Italija je zelo daleč od Južne Afrike, ampak bomo videli.
Me not even realizing that this trip is so close to this company's office that they about, I think that we were living in Pisa. The office is in Florence.
Torej, nisem se zavedal, da bomo prišli sem in da smo šli v Pizo, njihove pisarne so pa v Firencah.
So this is me meeting this guy at the head office last week.
In to sem se srečal s tem
You see the joy on my face.
A vidite moje veselje?
And that's how God works.
In tako Bog dela.
I went there,
Tja sem šel,
met with these guys,
sem mentored.
met with them,
Ja,
had a meeting with them.
srečal.
And they're a big company, they're a global company.
In so veliko podjetje, globalno podjetje.
And they decided that they want to partner with me in South Africa.
In so se odločili, da bi radi bili partnerji z mano v Južni Afriki.
Within the space of 2 weeks, God worked that thing very quickly.
In v roku 2 tednov je Bog to vse naredil.
I met him 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks later, we signed the contract.
In pred 2 tednoma sem ga spoznal in sedaj smo podpisali pogodbo.
So it just shows you, if you seek first the kingdom of God
In to vam pokaže, če res najprej iščete Božje kraljestvo
and his righteousness, all these things will be added
in
unto you.
njegovo pravičnost, bodo vse te druge stvari navržene.
I mean, this trip is purely a kingdom trip.
In to potovanje je samo za Božje
It's
kraljestvo.
not a holiday trip, it's not a business trip.
In niso počitnice in ni poslovno potovanje,
It's there to advance the kingdom and build up his people.
ampak to vidim, da poveže Božje ljudi in izgradi njegovo kraljestvo.
And then God does something like this.
In potem Bog naredi nekaj takšnega.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Aleluja.
So with that, we've got some commitments and a code of ethics in our company.
In torej, v našem podjetju imamo statut oziroma etično kodo, katero se držimo.
So we got 4 offices currently in South Africa.
In 4 pisarne imamo zdaj v Južni Afriki.
Right now we employ about 167 people.
Trenutno približno zaposlujemo 167 ljudi.
All by God, not me.
In vse to je Bog naredil,
Not
ne jaz.
I still can't believe it myself.
In še jaz sam težko to verjamem.
So I travel around to all the offices, and every Monday when I'm at each office, we'll sit down with our staff and we'll pray together before we start the week.
In torej, vsak teden začnem v različni pisarni in v ponedeljek se usedemo z osebjem in najprej molimo.
So for me it feels like I have my own church. I have 4 churches in South Africa.
In
My
zato se
4
mi zdi,
offices.
kot da imam 4 cerkve, 4 pisarne imam po Južni Afriki.
So my wife just wanted to talk about some of the ethics and commitments we as an organization what we stick to.
Torej, moja žena bo delila z vami torej naša načela, etične principe, katerih se držimo.
Okay, so so we have promised that to be honest and ethical in all our dealings.
Torej, naše podjetje se je zavezalo k temu, da smo iskreni in pošteni v vsakem našem poslu.
To provide efficient, economic and effective products and services in an impartial manner.
In da priskrbimo uporabne, ekonomične in koristne produkte in storitve.
To provide all stakeholders with timely, accessible and accurate information. Okay, accurate information. Let's stick to that. Accurate information.
Torej,
to provide accurate information.
Da priskrbimo vsem našim delničarjem, ja, da imajo takojšnjo, dosegljivo in natančno informacijo.
Refuse bribes.
Da zavračamo podkupnine.
To negotiate all contracts with the utmost integrity.
Da s čim večjo integriteto delamo z našimi partnerji.
To pay our taxes and creditors on time.
Da plačujemo davke in vse tiste, ki smo jim dolžni prav čas.
And to pay our tithes as well to the church.
In da plačujemo našo desetino cerkvi.
To pay reasonable salaries and wages.
Da plačujemo razumne plače.
To submit ourselves to ethical governing authorities.
In da se podredimo etični vladi.
To remember the poor by investing generously and sacrificially in the broader community.
In da ne pozabimo na revne in vlagamo radodarno in požrtvovalno v našo okolje.
So basically, must I talk about them? So we also have like a little soccer team based in Cape Town for the young kids, for underprivileged guys.
Torej imamo v Cape Townu imamo nogometno moštvo za tiste otroke, ki prihajajo iz slabših družin ali pa nimajo zmožnosti biti drugje.
And we have soup kitchens as well there for the community.
In imamo potem tudi kuhinje z juho, torej da nahranimo uboge.
Yeah, and to collaborate with our peers to impact our community and nation.
Torej, in da se povezujemo z našimi partnerji, da lahko vplivamo na družbo in na naš narod.
Okay.
Good. Good job.
So in business it's important to give back as well. We need to be giving back.
Torej, v poslu je pomembno, da dajemo nazaj.
We need to be looking at our poorer communities.
Da pogledamo naše skupnosti.
And where we can help the church.
In našo cerkev.
But it's important that we, as business people, we stay ethical.
In za nas kot poslovneže je pomembno, da ostanemo etični.
Because we as Christians, we get looked at in a certain way.
Ker kot
and we need to be leading by example.
Ja, ker kot kristjani moramo voditi z zgledom in to narediti.
And we need to have a servant leadership heart.
In moramo imeti srce vodje kot služabnika.
So it's also good for you guys as businessmen, it's also to speaking to your spiritual leaders.
Torej, pomembno je, da kot poslovneži govorite svojim duhovnim vodjem.
You as a person, you need to be hearing God for you.
You need
to be hearing God?
Hearing, aha.
Yeah.
Torej, vi morate sami slišati Boga.
And you need spiritual leaders to also be hearing God for you, to give you insight.
In torej, potrebujete duhovne voditelje, da slišijo Boga, da vam dajo vpogled.
To give you affirmation and confirmation.
Da vam dajo potrditve.
So there is a sense of accountability as well.
In zato lahko ste potem odgovorni drugim.
We're not as business leaders, who are you accountable to?
Torej, kot poslovneži, komu ste odgovorni?
So we just need to add that into our heart. And that, as we invest back into the communities, as we invest back into the poor, and we look after other people, so we are blessed to be a blessing.
Torej, pomembno je torej, da imate to v srcu in da dajete nazaj v skupnost in zato, ko smo mi blagoslovljeni, lahko blagoslavljamo druge.
I'll just want to play you a video of our company, of what stage we are at right now.
Želimo pokazati en video našega podjetja.
I hope it works.
Upam, da bo delovalo.
Okay, there we go.
The unit was established in September 1997. We service the petroleum industry.
37, you see?
Vidite v 37.
Our range of services to the petroleum industry includes manufacturing, designing, installation, maintenance, and painting of the service stations. We started out with 3 guys and 1 vehicle. From there we have grown. We got a national footprint. We got a branch in Cape Town, in Johannesburg, in Port Elizabeth, and in Durban. I feel that entrepreneurship is a backbone of our economy. Our school leaders are graduates. There should be a platform for them to explore entrepreneurship and not to be afraid. We should really open up doors to the next generation to have to take on that role of entrepreneur.
God is good.